Hello and welcome. My name is Evgeny Rusakov and you're watching TVP World interview from Vilnius. According to Reuters, Donald Trump's advisors will try to carrot and stick to get Moscow and Kyiv to negotiate. That includes cutting off military aid to Kyiv if it does not agree to talks and increasing such aid if Russian President Vladimir Putin refuses to negotiate. To discuss Trump's peace plans for Ukraine, we are joined today by the political scientist at Mykolas Romeris University, Alvydas Medalinskas. Hello, Alvydas, and very glad to see you here with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Alvydas, I know for sure that you really spend loads of time in Ukraine. So how would you describe Ukrainians' mood at this specific moment?
Well, the mood has changed, of course, because of more than 1,000 days and nights of war. That's not strange, because quite many families have someone who was killed or wounded, or maybe, luckily, still in the front and still alive. And also because, unfortunately, some of the Western promises to deliver military assistance in time, unfortunately, did not realize. And wherefore some people are saying, look, if, for example, after April, when the Congress and Senate voted to deliver this assistance, military assistance, if we would get it maybe within 1 month or several weeks, as it was promised, because it was promised that also some things were going just from Poland territory to Ukraine, so that to reach front it could very quickly. So some people saying, look, maybe my husband still would be alive. Unfortunately, we still did not have ammunition. We had to spare this ammunition. And because of that, maybe because of that, we've been killed. This again, psychological big stress. And also simply the thoughts about this. What is the future? How the peace plan might look like? Would West support us or not? Or it will be the part of the big political game? So yes, well, it's very simple. Just imagine ourselves, I know that's terrible, but just imagine ourselves how we would feel in such situation. And then maybe we could understand what Ukrainians are feeling.
It's good that you've mentioned that peace plan. What's your, as a political scientist, view on this Trump's team peace plans for Ukraine?
Well, first of all, it's very important to say that it's not only a peace plan for Ukraine. I would say it's also a peace plan for some, at least, eastern flank, NATO eastern flank countries. Because if the peace plan will be done in such a way that Putin would feel like a winner of this war, and if will be no solution for or membership of Ukraine in NATO following the peace plan, or will be no stationing of the military forces from the Western powers, EU, NATO countries, on this line dividing, let's say, two sides of the war, then, to my understanding, it will be just a matter of time until Putin will think, oh, I am so great. I did this all things. So what is this NATO about? And then, what I'm saying, if some country is saying that, no, we will not send the military troops if there is this peace plan, or let's say truce, will be made between Russia and Ukraine. So when I'm saying, well, you are simply switching on the green light for the Putin imperial ambitions to go farther on, because for him, Ukraine was only the first stage of for the deconstruction of the European security architecture after the Second World War.
Alvydas, here's the question then, that I want to ask then. What would be the best thing in all those peace plans that wouldn't make Putin feel victorious?
Well, one or another, what I said. It's interesting that we do not talk so much about territories anymore, but or NATO membership for Ukraine, or Western countries stationing military forces on this division line of Ukraine and make Ukraine strong. But if Putin will resist and would say, no, 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 I don't agree with this stationing of the Western military forces, or if some of the Western countries would say, well, we don't want, maybe we will provide logistics, maybe we'll provide something else, or whatever, maybe we will give some, again, more maybe military assistance, but we will not station our troops, then it's really the green light for Putin saying, I'm the winner. And he would say that he's a winner not only against Ukraine, but he's a winner against the West. Really, what Russian propaganda always portrayed. And after such truths will be made, if they will made in such circumstances that Putin would understand as a winner, the Putin return, I would say, to Moscow. Of course, he not so much left, but I could imagine something on the 9th of May or whatever, a big meeting parade. In the big parade, well, because Putin very much likes this historical memories of the Second World War, not just because to commemorate people who were killed in those wars or who defended the country, but simply because his grand idea, his Putinism ideology rests, unfortunately, on such things. So he would do again something like mixture, like Hitler after the maybe Paris or maybe in Vienna, and Putin after, let's say, Crimea, and now after this kind of war. Because, of course, Russian people also probably, as far as we know, are tired of this war. But if Putin becomes a winner, a hero, well, even those people who hesitated might say, oh, look, what kind of great hero, a leader we might have.
Okay, coming back to those peace plans. So according to those plans, Ukraine's accession to NATO doesn't look like an option for the next few years. Well, at least for the next few years. So doesn't this already look like a victory for Vladimir Putin against the West?
Well, I don't think so if NATO or EU countries would send military force to Ukraine. Because in this case, what does mean NATO membership? Well, of course, it's a formal, it's a very important thing. It's also umbrella, nuclear umbrella by the United States and many, many other things. But if you have already NATO countries, military forces on your territory, so to make a next step, after Putin or in the lifetime of Putin, and to say, look, well, it's already almost in NATO. Or if there is, let's say, another decision like European countries and who knows, maybe even United States would make something security arrangement like United States have with the South Korea or Japan or whatever. So there are various possibilities. The most important fact is how everything is realized. And if it will be realized more by words rather than by deeds, let's say, we will support Ukraine until the end. And somebody could ask, until what
which end?
Yeah, until exactly. Which end? Until who will have this end?
Exactly.
I mean, if someone will come, look, we will increase even more military forces, military assistance, somebody could say, well, look, so why did you not increase before when it was a possibility for Ukraine to win the war? So all the other promises will look like promises, and unfortunately this war showed the situation while economical and financial assistance was crucial for Ukraine, because, of course, a lot of economic and energy infrastructure was damaged, and without this, Ukraine would not survive as a country. So if economic and financial assistance was crucial, it came in time, and it was really very strong support. So regarding the military assistance, I have so many doubts, and especially now when we just remember what Jack Sullivan said, he even recognized the fact that even tanks Abrams, which came to the front, were not very ready to be used on the front line. And how many similar stories we have when some of the military assistance came up, when somebody just looked to the storages and probably did not look to the dates, when something is produced and said, oh, okay, we promised to Ukrainians, so let's do it. Everything will have a very good space to bring something new from the production produced. So, you know, if Western countries would think, and some of the Western leaders would think about this, what how they would feel if they would be instead in the place of Ukrainians. Maybe some of the mistakes, which unfortunately were done quite a lot by Western countries, maybe it would not took place during this war.
Alvydas, talking about the, US authorities and EU authorities in general, can it be argued that Ukraine is not a priority for them?
Well, because when talking about US authorities, of course, we probably cannot talk anymore about Joe Biden administration. Of course, we could do in the last days as we could in order to deliver this military assistance, which was not delivered also, it was accepted decision in April. So I don't know why we've been so late all the time by delivering this, that now we have to say that we will deliver every week for something, but we know that's not a plus to the decision which was done by the Senate and Congress, but it is from the same volume, from the same amount of the military assistance, which simply is declared every week as a new delivery. So for them, yes, but it's really ironically interesting situation. For President Biden, for his administration, I believe Ukraine was really one of the first of the priorities. The problem was with the weak administration and administration which all the time put red lines and afraid something that Putin will say something.
That's right.
And what will happen afterwards.
Okay, how about Trump?
For Trump, to my understanding, it is not Ukraine is the most important.
Is it China?
For him, no. Yes, but let's talk about Ukraine. Not Ukraine as a country is important, but the fact that he might the step which President Biden and no one before could do, and stop the war.
Okay.
So for him, the most important is stop the war. Wherefore, to my understanding, what's very important for the European partners to look at what cost. I mean, what is really on stake, how this peace agreement will look like. And of course, for the President Trump, China is the most important, secondly, more probably Middle East, and after Ukraine. Because to my understanding, what the President Trump will do when he will be president, but he's already doing like as
he's acting as a president.
Elected president, so he will push Russia to make a break from China, because for him China is the most important, and he does not like that Russians are supporting China, like President Biden and all Western countries did not like that China supported Russia with this military things which were later on coming to the front. So for President Trump, the most important is that Russia, the Putin, would make a step not supporting China. So then, of course, we could imagine that Putin is standing also in a very difficult choice. And probably he might say, no, I'm not agree. And that is the case, and just plus situation in Kursk region, which I from the beginning said that why Ukraine did this operation, because for Putin it will be very difficult to say for Putin, for President Trump, yes, if he let's stop the war, if he does not control the whole Russian territory.
That's right.
In this case, he would be the president, not the president who collected more territories and joined with Russia, but the president who lost
some territories as well.
Russian territory. But again, we see that the situation is going in the triangle. I mean, United States by Donald Trump, China, Russia, and let's say the rest of the world. So wherefore, could we say that in this case, it's Ukraine the most important? No, I would say China, but also some issues are really directly linked to Ukrainian issue.
That's right. Okay, Alvydas, I have to thank you for such an in-depth analysis. Unfortunately, we haven't got more time, but really hope to see you once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Martin. Bye.
And I would like to remind our viewers that our guest for today was the political scientist at Mykolas Romeris University, Alvydas Medalinskas. You're watching TVP World. Stay with us.